So I'm thinking some more about how life might be different in 100 years' time. So I'm making this in 2021. So in 2121, I would look back on how I am now and see myself as living a pretty basic life compared to how it is in 2021. And it's the same way I look back on people living in 1921. I would see it as basic because they didn't have electricity, they didn't have the internet or television or cars or street lighting. There are so many things that they didn't have that I take completely for granted now. And I'm thinking the same principle applies in 100 years' time, in 2121. They will look back on me and see me as living a very basic life. So I've been trying to think of what kinds of things I would have in 100 years' time that I don't have now, but that I would take for granted in 100 years' time. And not a lot has come into my mind. I haven't been able to predict the future. But I'm thinking now, I'm wondering if there might be one thing that will come to pass. And what I'm thinking is that there might be some means of reading our brainwaves such that things we think about can be understood by a machine to some extent. We might be able to form our thoughts into particular things such that the machine reading our brainwaves will be able to interpret our thoughts and do something. So, in other words, if we're sitting down and we want to turn the television on, we'll be able to frame our thought in particular, some particular imperative that would make our brainwaves be read and sent to a remote control system that turns on the television. So we could form our brain thoughts to turn on the TV, and then the TV will come on. And there might be all kinds of other things that we could initiate by framing our thoughts a certain way. And then the brainwave analyzer would read those thoughts and instruct a command to the house system, whatever. So I'm thinking there's so many things we could do. What's another example? I've talked about this television. Maybe it's turn the kettle on or something. So we could frame our thoughts to turn the kettle on, and then the house system would read our brainwaves with that instruction and turn the kettle on. Without us having to move, we could just think about it and it would do it. We could do the same thing to answer the telephone if it was ringing. We could frame our thoughts to answer the phone, and then we automatically answer the phone because our brainwaves have been read. So I think that's a possibility that we'll be able to frame our thoughts to produce an action if the house computer system was monitoring our brainwaves. So I definitely think that that's possible, and it is very interesting, obviously.